Right. Great evening, great people. Hey, everybody. Welcome in to Sister to Power Moves. I am Monet S. Horton, the visionary and host. And of course, I'm joined here tonight with our phenomenal, amazing, spectacular co-host, Tiara Parker. Say hey to the people.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Look, y'all already know that when she comes in, I have to just pause for the cause and see if she has anything else that she might be going to say there. But great evening, everybody. We miss you. I missed you last week.
I know. I missed you too. It's so crazy.
Yes. But we pray that everybody is in the flow. We are down to the last two Wednesdays, I'm saying Wednesdays, my goodness, last 2 weeks of
Mhm.
the year. And I'm in a grateful, just a space of gratitude.
Yes.
Um, but also just really been in reflection, and it's almost like we get down to these last couple of weeks and days,
Mhm.
but and of course I've seen blessings and experience miracles and just so many different
Yeah.
things. Yes, ebbs and flows, right?
Mhm.
But even in these last couple of weeks, this last month, I know I declared and decreed that it would be a month, a December to remember. But when I say
Mm.
blessings have been overtaking me, and I'm like, what? Okay,
Mm.
Lord, that too, and that too. I'll take it all in. And so I'm just really resting and reflecting in a place of gratitude tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
Absolutely.
and so we want you all to come on in, take a moment to click and share, come on in the room tonight. Um, we pivot here, we keep it moving, we flow. You know what flow is? Fearlessly leveling up, and we're overcoming and winning, continuing to win, embracing a mindset, not only a mindset, but a lifestyle, right? Of winning. And so, with that being said, tonight we are going to just dive into a conversation around uh, closing out the year powerfully, right? Closing out the year of with power. And we're going to share with you what that acronym means to us tonight as we break down those words and phrases. But take a moment to click and share, click and share. Sharing is what? Caring. Sharing is caring. And so we want you to take a moment to click and share, getting a space for you, a quiet space. Get your pen, your notepad, whatever you need to take some copious notes. Y'all know how we flow over here. But really, let's lock in. And when we lock in, let's lean in to these last couple of days. We know that we are preparing for Christmas. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Um, Jesus is the reason for the season.
Yes.
We
Yes.
must not forget.
Mhm.
Um, even with that, so we also want to take a moment to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone. And we know that you're probably out there preparing or doing what you need to do with your
Mhm.
families. Let's talk about that. How are you doing over there, T?
You know, to God be the glory. Um,
You took us to church already.
we are prepared and just ready. And I think more than anything, we're just excited about spending time.
Yeah.
Spending time. Like the older that I get, the more valuable
Mm-hmm.
spending family time is to me.
Mm,
And the more serious I am about it. Like
yeah.
attitude serious. Like
Yeah.
if we make plans now, because and I say that because our time is precious and we don't know the day nor the hour.
We don't.
And it's so important that you spend time with your loved ones and you let them know that they're loved and that you
Yeah.
love on them, not just in the materialistic way, but to give them their flowers. Say, I can't imagine my life without you. You bring so much value to my life. Like those
Mhm.
kinds of things, like those messages, and just letting people know that they are seen and that they're cared about. So
Yeah.
that's, for me, is the best. That's the best part of the holidays, is just being able to spend that family time.
Absolutely. I was literally just having a conversation with someone today and just saying how important it is to just spend time with your family. Like for me, I have to be very intentional because I also enjoy very much my time by myself, right?
Hmm.
So sometimes when these times come, it's like, oh, especially when it's cold outside, it's like, if my family is not here, listen, in this house, I may be good, like snuggling up and just being warm and,
Hmm.
but going out of my comfort zone or being intentional about, no, you
Yeah.
need to get up, put your clothes on and
Yeah.
spend that time or go
Hmm.
out, or family coming over, whatever it
Yeah.
is, spending that time because I've heard so many people just in this last week. And the week has just started. This week has just
Hmm.
started, but so many people have lost precious loved ones,
Girl.
grandparents. Just today, I was in a, with a friend and said someone lost their mom. I mean, it's so many different things that people are going through, let alone the layers of grief that they might have already been dealing with. And so
That.
really just loving while we can love, being while we can
Yes.
be,
Yes.
embracing while we can embrace
Yes.
is so important, and honoring those lives as well that have in the legacy of those who've gone on is so important. So yeah, I'm embracing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so
not sure
important.
exactly, like, because we've been talking about what we're going to do.
Hmm.
um no, we have some family coming and looking forward to enjoying them.
Yeah.
But yeah, just taking that time to spend with the ones that we love is definitely important.
Yeah. It's so
Um,
important.
yeah. So everybody, as you're coming in, we see you out there. Let us know that you're there. Hey, hey, hey. Click and share. What are you doing this holiday season? What are you doing? What are you looking forward to do?
Hmm.
What are the things that you enjoy doing, whether it's your family or it is your friends, your family that's not blood. You know, what are you doing this season to embrace the you have any traditions or however, share that with us. Drop it in the chat and let us know what you are doing. And then also tonight we're talking about closing out the year in power. With power, we hear the word power. And here we making power moves, right? But how are you really looking to end out, working towards and planning to end the year with power? And the other word that comes to my mind is demonstration, right? um Without jumping into our acronym that we're going to share tonight. But really think about that. If you haven't, hopefully you are. I know I've been literally like feeling like I've been floating from one thing gracefully, from one thing to the next,
Yes.
literally.
Yes.
And how about you? You said yeah.
Girl, it, y'all, I sent her an invoice, okay, at one something this morning, and the
You
subtotal at the bottom was incorrect. Okay, so I completely agree with you. Like, I I completely agree. Like, you have to pull yourself away, and I think while we're also being intentional about spending time with others, we have to be intentional about ourselves, because sometimes we can be so invested and
Yeah.
what we're doing in the moment and so in the flow,
Mhm.
that it's time to hang it up. It's time to go to bed. It's time. It's time. It's
And I had to
time.
tell myself that too,
Yeah.
many times. Like many times. Tell myself, Mo, it's gone. You want to be you want to complete this,
Yes.
but it may be better off if you just pause, take a break, and
Yes.
go on
That
and come
part.
back,
That,
come back, to it. So
that part.
so let's talk about this power. When I was thinking about power, the P is for persistence. And you can still hear me, right? Um, that P in my mind is for persistence. When I think about persistence, and definitely, as we flow, you jump right on in and what your thoughts about that. But as I'm closing out the year, it's easy a lot of times for us to give up, for us to give in. But if it's something that we've said that we want, that we desire, we must be persistent in it.
I
We
agree.
can't give up. That's like the easy thing to do.
It is. It is. And if I'm honest, I feel like a lot of times that's what the enemy wants us to do,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't realize how close we are to that thing, to that goal, when we decide, okay, I'm tired of this, I'm not doing this anymore.
Mm.
Because the reality is that if you have it, then it was planted inside of you, right? So why would you give up on something that the Lord placed inside of you just because the road isn't easy and it's not easily attainable? Because anything worth
Mm.
having, you're going to have to work for, and you're going to
Yeah.
have to fight for, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I agree completely.
Yeah. So that P for persistence there. And that persistence is standing out, right? It's definitely standing out there. But we have to be persistent. And um it's something else that I wanted to say that it just slipped my mind. But we cannot take the easy road out. Oh, this is what I was saying. That sometimes, especially when you get to the end of the year, people want to, oh, I'll move that, I'll just transition that or wait into the new year, right? And do that thing when you still have time. You know, last year at the beginning of the year, I launched the a virtual a 4 week virtual training for the ladies. It was sisters making power moves, right? And it was the what was the 4 E's to effective time management. And I actually was thinking about that the other day. I was like, wow, it's been a whole we're embarking on a whole year. Did we do that? But a part of that is maximizing your moments, maximizing the time that you have. So if you are not persistent and you're moving that thing, that goal, that to-do list, you're like checking it off or putting it in a holding position for the next year, then clearly you're not being what? Persistent.
And you're not operating in the flow.
Right.
Because now, and I know you know this, because this is how you operate, right? So when the Lord gives you something, if you do not act on that thing, if you don't act on it when he gives it to you, and then you go and you delay, when you go
Mm,
to birth it out,
yeah.
it is a lot more difficult than
Yeah.
when you just act on it right when he gives it to you. I'm talking about anything, whether it's a writing that he's giving you, whether it's a book, whether it's a devotional, whatever it is, when you act on it in the moment, the
Mm-hmm.
flow is so much easier.
It really is.
It
Yeah.
comes like it's like a download that
Mm-hmm.
just comes naturally as you're writing, as you're acting on the thing, versus you delaying it and not being persistent in that uncomfortable place of the unknown. Because a lot of times what keeps us from being persistent is the unknown, like not knowing, okay, well, if I do this, What will
Mhm.
come of it? Will it be
Mhm.
successful? Well, what if no one buys it?
The
Well, what if it's not?
questioning,
Yeah,
question, self-doubt,
yes,
self-sabotage,
yes,
different things that come up.
all those things, because who are we to question God? Because the reality is, when we start questioning, what if no one buys it, or what if only one person buys it? What if that thing that the Lord gave you was only for one person? What if
Mm.
it wasn't for the word? What if it was for just the deliverance of one?
You gotta show up
But
for the one. Yeah.
the deliverance of that one was the catalyst of the deliverance of thousands.
Yeah. Because
Sometimes I
you
think,
may be, that's so good, T.
mm-hmm.
Were you saying something else?
You got
I was thinking that your responsibility was to show up for that one, but that one may be connected to the thousands of the,
yes,
and
yes,
so we must not abort the assignment. And
yes.
that's why persistence. Oh my goodness. And think about pregnancy. Like I haven't had a baby yet, but you know that when you are, oh, come on now, come on, Jesus. Listen, when you are pregnant,
Yes.
the mother can't stop halfway through. She got to keep doing what? Pushing
She can't
through.
say I quit. She cannot say at 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, or 8 months, when she's feeling wailish and out of breath and all the things, I quit. She doesn't have that option.
Even when you're up on a table, there's so many different ways that you can
Oh,
have birth now.
girl, baby.
But when you're literally, let's just talk about when you're in labor, right?
Yes.
And I want to talk about this persistence. Now I'm getting excited and I'm getting, warm and fuzzy inside because I'm like, God, yes, because I believe that many of us right now are in a birthing position.
Yes.
Come on. We're in birthing position. And but some may look to the left and look to the right and say, "Oh my goodness, do I have time to do this?" Right? But if you just think about a mother in birth, like
Mm-hmm.
when you're up on that table or whatever position, you can't just stop midway and say, "I
Nope.
give up."
Yep. No.
The doctor keeps saying what?
The baby is coming, and keep pushing. Keep pushing. You can't stop pushing.
Now I can only imagine my when that time comes for me, baby. Oh Lord Jesus, God bless my husband, Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah, glory, glory, glory. But let me tell you, you cannot. You gotta keep. They say keep pushing, like keep
Yes.
going. So that
Yes.
is persistence. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to declare and decree and want to speak to
Mm.
somebody tonight to
Yes.
keep pushing, keep
Yes.
moving forward. Even
Mm.
if you get to the finish line and it's like, wait a minute, I still got X, Y, and Z to
Yes.
do. Guess what? You are much closer to finish than you was before.
That part. That part.
So you got to keep pushing.
That part. I think sometimes we think too small. We think too small in the sense of, we think about the things that the Lord gives us, the devotionals, the books,
Mm,
the 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 community project, the nonprofit. We think about it on such a small scale of, and we put our ego into it, right?
mm,
If we remove our ego and only move from a spiritual place, like the Lord gave me this, so I have a duty to birth it
mm.
out,
Yeah.
versus, if I do this thing, what if I fail? Instead of
Mm.
thinking the Lord gave it to me so I know I won't fail. And the Lord gave it to me so I know that He will. It's His will, so it's His bill. So I don't have to worry about the finances, because He's going to show up. I don't know how He's going to show up, but I know I'm going to get donors. I know I'm going to get investors. I know I'm going to get all the things, because this isn't something that I want. This is something that He wants me to do.
And I'm being obedient.
That part. That part.
And that could take us right on to the O, empower. Being obedient
Yes.
and coupled with taking ownership, because that's what I
Yes.
also wrote.
Yep.
Obedience and ownership, right?
Yes.
You have to take up ownership of whatever the instruction was. Personal responsibility. And then obey it to the core, like to the T. Dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and it won't always be perfect.
No.
Let's stick with the labor and delivery, right?
Yes.
You might breathe. They might say breathe a certain way. You be like,
right.
I can only imagine what a mother is doing. You taking all kinds of breath. You might not have took that complete breath, but you're breathing, right? Yes. But then as you keep going, you start, expanding, and you keep. Come on, help me out, because you went through this thing.
And I think sometimes we don't give ourselves grace, right? Because in the birthing process, there are many fathers who are in that birthing room who have gotten cursed out, who have gotten hit on, all the things, because in the midst of her birthing this thing out, she is in pain. Okay. So she's trying to get through her pain to see the blessing, right? Mm-hmm. So during the birthing process, whether it's anything that the Lord has given you, there is going to be pain involved. Any labor of love of anything is going to, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be it's not going to be sunshine and roses all the time. It's just not logical. Because in order for us to appreciate the blessing, we have to have some difficulty along the way.
Come on. You have to.
It's just part of the process. It's part of the Lord's process.
Yeah. It's to a certain degree, you have to expect that everything won't be. But listen, even with the Lord, right? The Lord didn't walk a road his own, denied him and didn't accept him and all of those things. And so when we walk this path of purpose, promise, destiny, self-discovery, when we run into obstacles, when we run into pain and heartache, think it not strange.
Okay.
It's a part of the journey. But what I'm learning is that, and have learned and learning, is that it's a part of the process, like you said. Yes. And we must embrace it.
And Jesus wept. If Jesus wept in the Bible, we are going to weep in real life, okay? Over and over and over again.
Why are you holding your tears?
Yes, like Jesus wept. We are not exempt. And I think sometimes Christians and followers of Christ have this idea that we should be exempt from the struggles and the trauma and the trials and the tribulations. Says who, says what, says where, and says how. If he wore a crown of thorns, please explain to me why little old raggedy me, okay? Because I'm raggedy, okay? Listen. I'm a heathen. Why should I be exempt from any pain of the process that's going to get me to where he's trying to take me?
Everybody listen, welcome in. Take a moment to click and share. Drop a hello, a hi, or let us know if this is resonating with you. We're talking about power today. Tonight, we're talking about power. Let's end the year with power. Yes. We've talked about the P for persistence, right? We have to be purposefully persistent in the process. And we said already that there are individuals, and I know I am in a position, in the birth position. Yes. And in that birth position, we've been talking about how a mother, now I haven't experienced, but T can pick y'all up where I can't help you, right? Tonight. But and those mothers out there, but when a mother is on and birthing out their child, they just can't stop in the middle and say, no, I'm done. You can't roll up off that table. You have to be persistent. And so I'm speaking to you all who have things that you want to do or put it on your to-do list. No, don't just automatically say the time is winding down and I'm going to put it off to 2025. Let's do it right now. Yes. And at least move the needle forward. and maximize the moment. And so that P is for persistence. Now we're talking about, now we're being persistent, but then we have the O is for ownership and obedience. You know,
And
before you can move on to another thing, you have to do what he said do first.
yes, that part, that part, that
You're
part.
looking for the next, but did you complete the now?
And, oh my god. So Mo, oh my gosh. Okay, so what just dropped in my spirit, right? So you're talking about the mothers on the birthing table and taking ownership and obedience, right? The
Yeah.
funny thing is that as soon as a woman finds out she's pregnant, she's already claimed ownership of that seed. It's
Oh, wait a
my
minute.
baby, my baby, my baby, my baby, my
Bring
baby,
us in. Bring us
my
in.
baby. And then the crazy thing is that she doesn't have to be showing for her hand to immediately go on her belly to protect that baby, to be mindful of the things that she's doing, she's eating, she's consuming. The way she moves is different because now she has a knowledge that she is about to
Mm,
birth something, right?
wow.
So my thing is this: why is it for us that when the Lord gives us something to birth out, we
Hmm.
don't take that same ownership? We be like, oh no, Lord, you got the wrong one. I ain't the one. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Wow. So we begin the guessing game.
Mm-hmm. But a mother that's pregnant never guesses. Once she finds out that once that pregnancy test comes back positive, it's hers. It's hers. And you come between a mother and her child. You try to take that baby out of her arms. You try
Listen.
to claim a baby that you didn't birth out. You
Mm,
try to
mm,
you
mm.
try to claim that baby that she pushed out as yours.
You're gonna be in trouble. Listen. Even the father
That
who
part.
played some type of role in it
Yes. Yes. So
is in trouble.
okay, listen. And the thing about it is that they have equal roles of power.
Mm.
However, however, the
Uh-huh.
first
How?
thing the
Yeah.
mother will say is, "I birthed that. I birthed. You didn't push that out. You didn't." So why when the Lord gives us something, whether it's a book, whether it's a nonprofit, whatever the Lord has placed on your heart, why are you so quick
Mm.
to like push it to the side as if it's not yours? Why are you so quick to remove yourself and distance yourself from it instead of taking ownership from it? Because when you don't take ownership, that delays your obedience immediately. Immediately delays your obedience. And we already know that delayed obedience is disobedience.
Disobedience.
So just saying. Just saying.
So we must pull it all in together
All of it.
when we're taking up ownership and obedience. Lady T, that was real good. That was that was really good. Going back to that, like the mother claims ownership from the beginning.
From the beginning.
But then think about the time. When you said that, it really took me back. Think about the time, especially when a mother or a woman who desires to have a child, and
Mm-hmm.
if that couple, maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
praying, they're
Yes.
fasting, they're praying, they're
Yes.
asking, they're making their request
Yes.
known for it.
Mm,
Think about that time and energy and effort that you're putting in.
mm.
And so that's the same way that we should handle the ideas, the concepts, the things that
Yes.
God gives us, because
Yes.
you may be praying
Mm,
you may be praying for something and looking for it to come one way, but he may be delivering it another way.
that part.
So you have to be mindful and ever so aware and alert and in position uh to stay that course and own it. If
That
he's
part.
giving it to you, then you have to own the whole process.
The
We
whole
can't segment the process,
the whole
but we
pro-
have to
oh, that's
own the
good.
whole
That's
process.
good. That's good. That's good. Monet, that is so good because all I could think about are the women that are believing God for a baby, and in their mind, they're thinking they're gonna have a natural birth. But what
Mm,
they don't know is that they're gonna have to use a surrogate or they're gonna have to do in vitro. And there's
wow.
a reason behind that journey. They just don't know it yet, right? But it's the same way when we are praying to the Lord for financial deliverance and financial breakthrough. And then the Lord drops in your spirit to open up a business. And you're like, no, Lord, I ain't doing that. I ain't never want to be an entrepreneur. But you just prayed for financial deliverance and you just prayed for financial breakthrough, not realizing that the Lord just gave you the answer to your prayer. It just didn't look like how you wanted it to look. You wanted it to come through the Mega Millions, and the Lord is like, no, open up a business and you'll have your financial breakthrough.
Herein lies the obedience.
That part. That part.
Herein lies being obedient. Y'all, listen, welcome in, y'all. I hope y'all are coming into this power pack conversation. Lady T is laying it down tonight, and we are just like really wanting to encourage you to stick out, like stay the course and top this year off that cherry, right? With that cherry of power today. All right. We're giving you these tips. Persistence is the P. Ownership and obedience is the O. Double pack, power pack, right? And then we are going to go ahead to the W, okay? And the W tonight is for a winning attitude and mindset.
Yes. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Ooh, that's good.
Stuff comes in our mind. Number one, first of all, mental health has been a big, we talked about it this year several times. You can wake up in the morning or you can go to bed with a positive mindset, say your devotions, do your devotions, wake up, do your devotions. But there's one thing that could have slipped in. It can have your attitude, your emotions, your mindset. You went from 100 to 0. So in this process, as you are ending off the year with power, see, when we ended off with power, you're clearly going to transition and top off the year in power, and it's going to be a transition and flow into the next year. So with this, we have to bring our mind and our thoughts under subjection, our emotions. Somebody, I was in a workshop and they said, let's focus on our facts and not fear.
Yeah.
Emotions, right? Not our emotions, but instead of your emotions, you want to execute, right? You want to lean into what's true. We know our emotions can have us on a roller coaster.
Yes.
Thoughts are things. So then we have to monitor our intake. What are you listening to? To stay in the winning zone, right? To stay in that winning zone, to stay in a positive posture and mindset of winning. And how about it's to stay in that posture and position, even when every way you look, it looks like you're losing.
Whew. Jesus.
How do you do it? How do you do it? Meditate. Meditation is one for me. Being still. Music therapy. You know, instrumentals, because it's not all in the words, because you got to be mindful of the words that you know taking as well. But I've been really doing a lot with just instrumentals. But what keeps you in the flow throughout the day? You know, are there any things that you use that help you to stay in the flow, Lady T? Those are a couple of mine, things that work for me.
Music definitely works for me. Music is a big one, especially like gospel music. When it's just, I feel like gospel music in the morning to just like get my day started, kind of set the tone for my day, is just really big for me. And then sometimes I just have to talk it out with God. I have to talk it out with God like he is my homie. Like,
he is mine.
because sometimes it is not well with my soul, and I need to let him know that it is not well, and that I need to get to an understanding.
Yeah.
Because I need to talk it through with him so that
Mhm.
I'm not talking it through with someone else and getting myself into a deeper funk. So like, let's just talk this out. I'm gonna talk to you like you my homie, and
Mhm.
we going to hash this out because I don't understand. I don't understand. This is not what I expected this to look like. I don't understand what I'm doing here. And I just feel like that's just important. And I think those
That's
are
good
just two
too.
big ones for me. Just
Yeah.
talking it out with him.
You know, listening to you say that's huge for me is starting with God.
Yes.
Starting with God, because sometimes we can get inundated and we bring all these other people inside of something when God had the answer. God has the answer. We already know he has
Yes.
the answer. But the question is, can we sit still enough and even to hear the answer, to get the
Yes.
clarity, to get the
Yes.
downloads. I remember, and I think I might have said this in one of our prior shows, is that this year what God has showed me is, and even in as I'm flowing every day, because every day has its new journey, every day has its new task, every day has,
Mm-hmm.
all these new things, encounters that you have to navigate through. And so even in my devotional time and getting up and praying, I might have in my mind what I want to do in the lineup. But how about instead of in the prayer, how he shifted me was, instead of going to God with my whole list or what I thought I
Mm-hmm.
needed to say, I was just quiet.
Mm.
Like literally, I
Mm.
was just like silent, quiet. I put my meditation music on, um, and just said, God, I'm here. I need
Mm.
you to tell me. You know what's on my heart, and I'm bringing it to you. I'm yielding it to you. Now, you show me what to do with this.
Mm.
But then I'm being still, because before I could be quick to move. So if I move before he moves or speaks, then I don't get the download and I don't get the clarity. And I know sometimes we think about the time, now God, 8 o'clock, I gotta be in. Can you come and speak a little quick? Can you speak fast? But I'm telling you, in those moments, and he would give me the release if I can I go on to the next thing? And he might speak through the day. But then I have to be in a posture all day.
Yes.
I mean, because
Yes.
be real, we do have to work. It's stuff that
Yeah.
we have to do. We have to
Mm-hmm.
be persistent, take
Mm-hmm.
ownership, and obey. Right, all these things
Mm-hmm.
that we said, it causes us to have to. It's a call to action. So it's not a
Absolutely.
call to just be still all day. But in that, I had to learn the new way, because the
Mm.
things that we are doing sometimes, it's a good thing, but is it the God thing for the moment?
That. That.
It might have worked in the last season or chapter of
Mm-hmm.
your life, but
Mm-hmm.
is it still the way that he's moving now?
And if we're constantly growing
Mm-hmm.
and being stretched spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
we have to be mindful about the fact that it's exactly what you just said. What worked last season is not going to work this season. You
Yeah.
might have gotten away with reading your Bible every other day and praying, occasionally. But if you are leveling up spiritually, the Lord is going to need more. He's like, you want more from me. So I'm going to need more from you.
So
I'm
I'm
going to need for you to read
requiring.
your, yes, I'm going to need for you to read your Bible more every day. I'm going to need for you to talk to me every day.
Mhm.
And the more we grow, the more we have to do.
Yeah, we got to level up. We have to level up, because he expanding us, right? It's an
Yes.
expansion process. Oh, that's so good. So I hope you all got the winning attitude and mindset. We see y'all in the chat. Thank y'all. Please take a moment to click and share. Um, this winning attitude and mindset, I really believe it keeps you in the flow. It
Yes.
helps you because our natural is real. The human, you know, our humanity is real, but our God is realer,
That
right?
part. That part.
You know,
That.
I was reading somebody, I think my big sister, Jewel, I was reading her post today, I think today, and she said, life has been lifing, but God has been Godding.
That. That.
Life, you know, sometimes we put so much pressure on what life is doing, but God is God, and God is still who he said he is, you know, and he will forever be. So we
That.
can't put
Yes.
too much emphasis on all these other things, more
Mm-mm.
power in it than what it is. So
Mm-mm.
we have to take the power out of these other things and put it in its rightful place.
Yes.
And if we do these things, I believe that we'll continue to have a winning attitude and a winning mindset. And the E, right, is for executing, to
Mm.
execute. So we're being persistent, we're taking ownership and being obedient. We're coming in with a winning attitude and mindset. And with that, now we're layering it, leveling up with execution. And y'all know this is my word, right? When we execute, we are making a firm commitment to do whatever it takes to put in the work, to carry it out, to implement, to just do it like Nike said, right? But then the flip side of execution means to also kill off, right? Maybe some things that we need to die to or release and let go in order to check those things off your list that you want to complete. And so when we execute, it is important. What comes to your mind when we talk about this execute and
Mm.
completion, Lady T?
When I think about executing, I think about fulfilling the idea, the fulfilling the idea, or the just whatever it was that God gave me. Because when I think about that, it's like God's God's vision has come to life. That's what I think about.
Mm,
God's vision has come to life. So when we fail to execute, his vision is unable to come to life through us. No,
mm.
let's just be clear. He can move on and get somebody else.
Listen.
However, how full do we feel when we literally execute God's vision and bring that thing to life?
Mm, that's good. Bringing it to
And
life.
yeah, and I'm not
We're
talking
just
about
not
like,
doing it. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, not the accolades, not the money portion of it, or all of the other blessings that can come from that. I'm talking about that that simple spiritual thing between you and God. When that thing is done
Mm,
and his vision is alive.
mm.
That's what I think about.
Yeah. What's the feeling that you feel like
Ooh.
when I do, when I
Whew.
carry out what God
Ooh.
has assigned me to do and I obeyed him? And you know me because you are close,
Yes.
right? It's like it's a good feeling. Like I'm like I can see God smiling.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
he's pleased. I've
Yes.
given, I am giving the glory through my life. The glory is being directed back to him.
Yes.
I'm just a conduit.
That.
God, I don't want it. I don't want the glory, but it's being directed. Like I feel like he's well pleased. And
Yes.
the pleasing doesn't come at the point of our, we don't have to wait to go on to glory,
Yeah, that
right?
that is
It's
it's
now.
oh, oh my gosh, that is so good, because I think about it in the terms of the parable of the talents. So for
Mm,
everything or every vision that the Lord gives me that I bring to life, I think about, okay,
Mm.
I've multiplied the gifts that he's given me.
Come on, preacher.
Like, like that's what I think. Like, because he's given us all things,
All
all
things.
these things, whether you're a writer, whether you're a singer, whether you're an artist, he's given us all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of the visions that he's given you, that you can just be like, okay, that's done. I was able to do that. And not only were you able to execute it, but you see
Mm-mm-mm.
God in it, because it's
Jesus.
not just you. When you are carrying through the
Mm.
thing that God gave you to do, and you're doing it in the way in which he told you to do it, he is in it. So it's already blessed. It's
Mm.
blessed before it gets published.
Mm.
It's blessed before anybody sees it.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
once it happens, once it does get published, once people
Mm.
do see it,
That's just the icing on the cake.
that's it.
Because the work is being done in you.
Yes.
And now that you're sharing it, now someone else can change their life.
That, that, that.
So then then the multiplication goes further.
Hmm.
The formula
Yep.
it expands
Yep.
because it doesn't just stop at you.
No, because the Lord is using you to execute a thing or the thing, but that thing that you executed is giving somebody else the motivation that they need to execute the thing that he wants them to execute.
That's good, lady, too.
So it's so much greater than us.
Yeah.
So then we have to ask ourselves, which one are we?
Mm.
Are you hoarding your gifts? Are you sharing your gifts? Are you investing your gifts? Like, who are you in the parable? Who are you?
That's
And do you need to do better next year?
yeah. Start now.
That part.
Ooh. I hope y'all being blessed. I hope you are being blessed, whether you're live with us right now or watching the replay. Okay. When you fail, I'm taking copious notes over here. Really think about when you fail to execute what's going on in that
Mm-hmm.
ratio. What's going on. We're not giving God glory. We're not making a good return on what He's invested within us. We're not multiplying,
Mm-hmm.
but we're really denying.
Yep.
Denying it, it's a form because whether we respond or not respond, it's still a response.
Yes. Yes.
Whether we move or stay still, we're still responding. We're still
Don't leave God
answering.
on red. Don't leave him on red. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You know, don't don't do it. And so with that, I believe we have given them like that formula right there. Like, I need to know you all are taking this formula down because the R is simply to now rinse and repeat.
Yes.
Rinse and repeat. I
Hmm.
believe that God has given us a formula, and sometimes we make it hard. We blow it up to be something that really like he like, baby, it's really easy, it's really simple. I just needed you to do A and
Mm-hmm.
B. If you obey,
Yep.
there will be no delay.
Yep. That part.
But you have to obey. So in this rinse and repeat, you're obeying him. You're just doing it over and over again. What worked the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Continue to do it. Obedience worked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I got
Mm-hmm.
to do that again. Rinse, repeat. Different situation, but same God.
That part. That part. I feel like we make everything difficult. I feel like we really, really do. I feel like if we operated in a space of blind obedience
Mm,
and blind faith in everything,
mm.
we wouldn't have half of the difficulty we have. We
Yeah.
would not experience half of the trials and tribulations we experience because
Mm-hmm.
most of our troubles
Mm-hmm.
come from us stepping outside of alignment and wanting to do our own thing because we
Absolutely.
are not in agreement with
Mm-hmm.
what the Lord wants for us.
Hmm. Yeah. So now we want to change that though.
Mm-hmm.
We want to abandon what we know hasn't worked, because
Yes.
repeating and doing, like, this year was a year that I said I don't want to keep repeating the cycle. I already know that it doesn't work, so why keep
Mm-hmm.
doing it?
Mm-hmm.
The things that are not served, no longer serving where we say we want to go,
Yep.
then we have to release that. And
Mm.
the things that align with the assignment or what's before us, and what we know God has for us, we want to continue in that flow. Rinse and repeat it.
Yes.
Continue to do it. What's the song say? If he did it before, he's going to do it
Listen,
again.
listen, listen.
And thank God for grace.
Mm.
But we don't want to just play the grace game. We don't want to play God's mercy and unmerited favor. No, just do what he said do the first time. You can't get to the next without obeying the now.
Because a lot of people right now are literally coasting on grace and favor.
Mm,
You're coasting on grace and favor, wondering why you feel like your prayers haven't been answered, and you're wondering why there hasn't been increase, and you're wondering why
mm-hmm,
this hasn't happened, and this hasn't happened, and that door hasn't opened. But it's because you are coasting on grace and favor.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Coasting.
From one assignment to the next, from
And
one
that's it.
idea to the next, one
And
business to
and and not putting in any extra effort.
the next. Mm-hmm.
Persistence requires effort.
Yeah.
To have power, you have to have effort.
Mm-hmm. Wow. She didn't give us you have to put the effort in. You have to put the work in.
Yes.
Wow. That is so good. And if you all didn't take anything away tonight, listen, I have a whole list of things that I didn't take away tonight. We want to let you know that it is so important that we are powerful.
Mm,
There is powerful, an untapped power
mm.
that I believe it lives, it resides within all of us. But we must take the time to pour back the layers on it, to lean into it, to tap into it.
Yes.
It's lying dormant.
Mm,
When something is what is it, when something is lined, you gotta, what is it, when your baby is, when the baby, when your son or your daughter or however, when a child is asleep, you gotta like tap them. And what are you looking
mhm,
for? Some movement. You got to activate. You looking to activate
mhm.
it, right? And so that's what we have to do. We have to activate, shake it up. And none of that happens by just looking at it or by just sitting still, rocking in your chair, say, I wish upon a star. Like, no, we're not doing that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
We're not climbing up no mountains. We're not wishing upon a star. We're going to speak it. We're going to do it. We're going to commit to a life and a lifestyle of power, being
Yes.
persistent, taking ownership, and obeying, right?
Mm.
Having and embracing a winning mindset and attitude, being empowered to execute,
Mm.
and knowing that with those things we can always take a moment to rinse and repeat.
Yes. Mm, 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 mm.
That's so good.
It is. It's so good. It's so good.
So as we are closing out tonight, I see you all. I pray that this has been a blessing. This has blessed me. I said, I know that this power is powerful because we can throw that word around so many times, but nothing happens until something happens.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing happens until something happens. And you don't want to wait till someone dies, to a life shaking,
Mm,
happens for you to
mm-mm.
get it. I don't know about you, but I don't want to.
No, absolutely not.
I'm like, God,
Absolutely
tell
not.
me you don't have to take me to the core bone down to the end for me to get the message.
Listen, that part. That part.
So let's commit to live with power and demonstration, y'all.
Mm,
And I know that if you just continue to be persistent and to put that cherry on the top of this
mm,
year with power, close
mm,
out the year in power, that you will transition into the next year doing things that you never dreamed or imagined
mm,
that you can do
mm,
because you've already activated. You've already put into place your expectation
mm.
because we got to expect it. Expect, right? Something great. And
Yes.
yes, we have to finish strong.
Mm,
Um, mm, because no one is coming to do it for us at all. But I believe that sometimes when we're looking and waiting for God to do something, He's looking and
mm.
waiting for us to do it because He's put the power in us.
Yes.
So we pray tonight that you've been activated, that you
Mm,
have been empowered with power,
mm,
and that you take this acronym and that you will implement it in your life as you are finishing out the year with power
mm.
and finishing it off strong. Lady T, you have any final words for us tonight as we are wrapping up?
I don't.
This
I
has been great.
just this is, I mean, it's just so good. It's just so good. I just want to remind everyone that's watching to not diminish the power of God,
Mm-hmm.
because through him we have the power.
Yeah.
And when you consistently question, you're questioning his power, and he can
Mm.
do all things. It doesn't matter
Oh,
why he chose you. That's irrelevant. The question is, are you going to show up and invest your gifts and talents?
you got to show up.
Are you going to bring his vision to life? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
Mm. Because you will be held accountable.
Yes, that part.
Accountable. And so, again, it is our prayer that you've been able to glean something tonight. I'm excited, you all. We want to
Yes.
wish you all again a Merry Christmas,
Yes.
a Happy New Year, and really to take this and make a power move in your life. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't tune in tonight by happenstance. We're all in different seasons, but I believe that every season and every level requires an elevated, right, perspective and
Yes.
another level of commitment to lean in and to execute and to complete, right, and to finish strong. It requires another level of us, right, another version, right, of us. And I believe that great things will be birthed out and is in the process of being birthed out. Just remember to stay persistent, take up ownership. I'm gonna keep saying it, y'all. Obey, have a winning attitude and mindset, execute, and rinse and repeat. I love you all. The next time we come, we're gonna be here next week. We're gonna be here next week, right?
Yep.
I'm already saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We're going to be here next week, God willing. We have another guest that's going to take us higher and help us to put that cherry on the top of the year as we are. We're going to talk about staying in a position of ready, right? And being able, the tips to really planning a lifestyle and maintaining a security, a stellar lifestyle, and maintaining security for you and your family. And so tune in next week, y'all. We go higher because we are on fire. Like that, lady. Yes. I love you all. Stay tuned. I love you all. Shout out. I see you, Sunshine. I see you, Apostle Catherine T. Parker. Miss Lisa, love you. I love you, Dr. E. We appreciate you all showing up and showing out for us. And listen, also, before we close out, we also want to share that we're coming up on our 3rd year of Sister to Sister Talk Power Moves on MLK Day. And so we're looking to celebrate. And so we're looking to turn it up. So stay tuned to see what we're going to be doing in the next phase. We love you all. Take care and take charge. Have a blessed night.
Good night.
Good night.